requiring only 20% of the work that currently has to be performed, pilot a neighbourhood plan through all those stages. And as I said, 80% of the work of our neighbourhood plan was to comply with the basic conditions. So the area to start with is the basic conditions. That was a problem for us. And, our evidence base is full of documents where we have pages and pages and pages of documents setting out all the work we went to satisfy the basic conditions. And that must be wrong.
Yeah, very hard work. A lot of because neighborhood plan is related to a number of documents. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, as you know, for the planning for the future government white paper, the whole of the government's emphasis at the moment seems to be that the problem with the fact that there are not enough houses of the right quality in the right place being built, that the fault for that is with the planning system. And their solution for that is to try and direct development from the centre, try and push developments through national policies. But of course that conflicts with the localism principle set out in the Localism Act, and that conflicts with the views of local people. So again, there needs to be a way of ensuring that the planning system gives the biggest voice to local people. I think, in a way, government must trust local people. Because local people are not stupid. They're not all saying, no development, no, we don't want anything. They're not stupid. They're not like that. So if you actually trust local people, they will do the right thing. It's a little bit like, your children. Sometimes you have to give them pocket money and trust that they will make the right decisions on how they spend it.
Yes, right.
Because eventually they will become adults.
Yeah.
And I think you can't treat local people as though they're children, who you can't give pocket money to and expect them to be responsible.
Yeah. Do you think that more the specific and detailed policies of neighborhood plans can be more influential on to the readers or actors?
I think currently our plans our plan is as influential as it can be, given the constraints that limit it. And the three constraints are, firstly, the fact it has to be subservient to all the higher level plans, and therefore cannot say things that are different. Secondly, it can only cover land use and can't cover transport and the public realm. And thirdly, that the whole thrust of government policy is to try and push decisions from the centre, which inevitably reduces the role of local people. So within those three constraints, I think our neighbourhood plan is as influential as it could possibly be.
Can I have a final question? Do you have any advice for those who is preparing neighborhood plan as a neighborhood forum?
Yeah, I think our advice is sometimes when you're preparing a neighbourhood plan, because you are normal people, residents, sometimes it's easy to accept what your local council tells you should be in your neighbourhood plan, or should not be in your neighbourhood plan. And what we found was that when we did a health check on our neighbourhood plan and we said, well, there are areas here where our local council says we should not include these policies, but these policies are important to our local people. Yeah. What do you think? The examiner who did the health check said, well, actually, you can include those policies. If you word them appropriately, you can include them. So I think my advice would be, don't just rely on what your local council or Transport for London tell you. First, find out what your local community want. Then talk to your council to find out how those wishes can be incorporated in a neighbourhood plan. And if you're told you can't do anything, make a note and then at an appropriate point get a second opinion from a planning inspector or from an examiner to make certain you have the right understanding of what can be included and what can't. Yeah? So just to give you an example, a neighbourhood close to us wanted to develop a transport section for their neighbourhood plan. And they were told by their council, you cannot have a transport section in your neighbourhood plan. So they didn't include one. Yeah? If they had got a second opinion, they would have found, like us, that you can include a transport section in your neighbourhood plan. You just have to be careful that it is worded appropriately and doesn't conflict with the national policy planning framework, the London plan and the local plan.
So yes, it's very interesting things in it. Yes, I didn't know that the PI story and how it works, how the neighborhood plans works and impact on the decision and how it works in practice. Because but it's a very good information.
I think actually, if you go on to our website, I think there is a copy of the presentation that was given at our annual general meeting. And I have a feeling that gives the statistics for the number of planning consents or planning decisions made by Camden that specifically reference our neighbourhood plan. So that might be quite useful evidence for you if you can look that up on the website. I'm just trying to see if I can find it here. I probably won't be able to, but I will just have a look. No, I can only see the accounts slide, unfortunately. Is there one from last year? Report, presentation. Just open this up and see if there's anything from last year. What's the accounts? Planners. Yeah, now this was last year, not this year, so hopefully there is more information on the website. But in 2019, we reviewed 250 proposals, and the plan was explicitly taken into account and referenced in 94% of Camden's planning decisions. If you go to the website, you should find the most recent stats for 2020.
Yep.
So that's 94% of decisions. That's a pretty good result. That means in 94% of decisions, Camden